what better way to start out pop culture, my Quark's bar, my ruminations on pop culture and what's going on and just general shenanigans. I hope to use this as a means to not just introduce the Quark's bar popular culture segment of the podcast, but also anytime I have any shorts. I find this music to be uplifting, and I hope you find it uplifting. Join me on my journey of words and self-discovery. And thank you for listening. So I get asked, or I wonder pretty much, why would I name additional content or bonus content Quark's Bar? Well, most people that are familiar with the bar scene know that we talk about a lot of things over drinks and back porches. Quark's Bar to me is though a place to go that you go to just talk about interesting topics. And in my case, it was that's anything that surrounded Star Trek. Most recently, I was into Discovery until it wrapped. The subsequent season wrapped at the beginning of the year, as well as Picard. Picard doesn't come back until 2023. It's only the summer of 2022. I get bits and pieces of news. There's Strange New Worlds. I haven't started watching that yet, but I'll probably include that as part of the Quark's Bar popular culture. And that's the whole thing. Quark's Bar was on DS9. This is Deep Space Nine, to the un-Star Trek non-nerd initiates, that was on a subspace station that was ran by Captain Sisko. And it was ran by the Ferengi. Quark, Ferengi, alien race, were all about the business, so of course he would have a bar. And it would beg to differ that all the popular culture, playing dumja bars and playing roulette or whatever for Go Press Latinum, that makes sense for me to have a segment for popular culture in Quark's Bar, as I try to fight off my rotten little dog, Ethel. Hi, Ethel. You gonna say hi to the people, or you gonna bark at me? No, you're gonna just jump back up there. And Ethel fought me for my own sandwich from Jimmy John's earlier, as well as she probably is gonna fight me because this is Tequila Tuesday. And I usually get tacos, but I'm actually going to make some nachos. I'm just waiting for the chili portion of it to simmer, but that's neither here nor there. I just feel compelled to produce this content, and I want to get into a habit of producing the main longer episode to publish on Sunday or Monday, preferably on Monday, because one of the shows that I'm going to allude to during this episode doesn't drop until Sunday morning, and that's P-Valley. But I'm going to be discussing in this episode, I'm going to be talking about an article for a brother. I don't know if he's a con or not, as well as the Caresha Kevin interview that is so ratchet and profane, but it's like watching a train wreck, and I don't know. And as well as I have just a few more parting words for my 7 Black Fathers, and through 7 Black Fathers, I read that through Will Jawando, that led me to one of his mentors was Barack Obama's Dreams from My Father. I actually started listening to that on Audible. So this truly bonus episode is going to have a mix of both Ratchet as well as respectable talk about books, all about popular culture, which makes sense if you're going to call a podcast episode Quark's Bar. So one of my many subscriptions is to the New York Magazine. This is the July 18th, 31st of this year edition. This is a byline, the actual journalist that reported this. Let me go back to the beginning. Wes Erzini, back in early April, he interviewed what they allege or dubbed the Amazon Slayer. This is a whole feature about Chris Smalls. He becoming the new page or new face of labor. He looks like a busted, this is the guy that got killed in front of his store. Nipsey Russell. He has big diamonds in his ear, scraggly. It's a longish mustache, but it's actually pretty trim. And he has a do-rag on his head. He's making the rounds. Tucker Carlson, of all people, he's met Biden. He accuses the Biden administration and the Democrats of leaving them in the lurch. It all comes down to he is trying to replicate. He did what nobody or other union organizers have been unable to do. He's unionized his first Amazon warehouse. His story is as such. Back in 2015, he started rising through the ranks as a sorter or picker in the Amazon, one of the New York Amazon warehouses. Did well, got bonuses. Everybody wants to be on that team. But then he couldn't get through the glass ceiling because it came out right when Jeff Bezos divorced his wife that the reason how Amazon makes so much bank is because they don't have a lot of middle management. They don't want thousands and millions of people that are coming up through the warehouse to stay. They want to keep their salaries at a certain range, even though they have high turnover, they have a lot of workplace injuries, but they basically, their model or job model is rapid turnover. Get the products in and process it through. People can get education through it, but it's not like that you're going to be a 20 or 30 year Amazon man, because there is a glass ceiling for everyone. And so that's exactly what happened to him. And so he saw what was going around him, decided to unionize. Corona hit. They did it, but he also then got fired. And now he's basically he's like the poster child of unions, but he looks like a broke down rapper because what he calls his union swag or his union drip, nobody can afford to dress like this on Amazon wages, even though you made as just a regular worker. And that's what the regular workers are complaining about. What is happening to all of the donations? Is it just going on his back, his union drip? Is he doing all he can for the real Amazon workers like he once was? How could you be a union man and you don't even work for the company anymore? I think all of these are very good questions. I'm hoping it's not going to be another Black Lives Matter. They're going to have to vote his ass out. But Amazon is really trifling. How they expect rapid turnover and it's designed to create a climate of fear. All of these things are absolutely true. And it may also be true that even though he did a great thing, it started out with the best of intent. He actually, now he is, there is, it kind of in the back of my mind, I keep thinking financial malfeasance, they're going to get his ass. And a good thing is going to start unraveling because he may not be the best for this particular job. He could get the donations, but he may not need to have any access to the money, because I don't know. I just can't see him. Where is he working now? How is he able to afford his union drip or his, and I think the people like Tucker Carlson, they will keep him on the show if he taps dance for them, but does he want that kind of exposure? Does he want to align himself with the Republican non-sympathizers? Do they see him as a caricature just to make fun of him and see his rise and then subsequent fall? So be careful, brother. Somebody's going to have your back. Or the Tucker Carlsons and the Trumpers of the world go Nipsey Russell your ass. Actually, I meant Nipsey Hustle your ass. Just saying. I have no words. You have to listen to this yourself to get the full gist of what Caresha and Kevin Gates were putting down. I can't explain it. I am equal parts, I think, appalled and fascinated.
I'm not about to fuck this up. I'm just not. Like, it depends on what type of value you have to me. If you're my place of peace, I'm not gonna fuck it up.
Okay.
When you say a man cheating, no, he going looking for peace somewhere else because he's not receiving peace where he at.
Not true.
Okay, so you my peace. And we arguing every night. That's not peaceful.
I can be your peace and you still go cheat.
You arguing though? Is we arguing? Can I be myself around you?
Yeah.
Okay, watch this. So if it's something you don't agree with, you ever just and gave off that fucked up energy?
Yeah.
I'ma catch that.
Okay. And you guess what?
And that's gonna disrupt my peace.
You gonna respect it.
Me?
Yeah.
I'ma get in compliance.
Yeah.
Right gang wrong nigga. Right gang wrong nigga. I love this show. I do. Yes, Lord.
So do you think that like men and women cheat for different reasons?
Yeah.
Like, okay, so why do you feel women cheat?
I don't know why they cheat.
Because I'm gonna tell you why I'm gonna cheat.
Okay, why you gonna cheat?
I'm gonna cheat if I'm like unhappy and I'm just like aggravated and it's just.
So what kind of thing would aggravate you?
What kind of things would aggravate me?
I'm just this perfect old bitch ass. Excuse, I ain't mean to say that. I'm a perfect square from Delaware. No disrespect, nobody from Delaware. That's just a figure of speech. I'm a square from Delaware. I'm just doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing in your eyesight. What's gonna make you cheat?
Okay, I'm gonna speak for me. I'm an Aquarius. So.
Just speak for you. Don't speak for you. Let's not say I ain't trying to hear about men because you keep putting me in this category.
No, I'm not. I'm just speaking.
Let me tell you something. I'm half man, half amazing. It ain't a nigga on this earth that's like me. So you keep saying men. Like, don't get me to speak for men.
Okay.
I'ma speak for me.
Okay.
These are my feelings.
Okay.
Another old bitch ass nigga might not have my same philosophy.
Yeah, I see.
Through what I've been through.
Because you said that I can come tell you I just fucked somebody and you gonna say show me the
just
video.
Dick. What? I'm not tripping. See, I'm not having a dick measuring contest with that nigga. I got a big long dick, so I ain't tripping on what you did with him. He not.
But
he can't fuck you like I'm fucking you. He not fucking you like I'm fucking you. So you can go fuck him all day. You know where you gonna come back to? That day. I ain't trying to hear that shit. I ain't trying to hear that. I ain't trying to hear that. You coming back over here to me. Ain't no nigga like me. The things I'm gonna show you and teach you about life is gonna make you have a great, better lifestyle.
He said that he wasn't high or drunk, and he was saying this with a straight face. And that's my dog barking because I'm also cooking sausage that made one of them had exploded in the oven. But all I could think of, did they smash afterwards? Is his penis that long? And Negro, please. I am listening to this interview with fascination because they're going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. All I can think is she's sitting either she eat potato chips or popcorn. He's not judged, but I haven't listened to it all. And she's just snacking like, I can't really believe he's saying all this shit. That's what the listener is saying. It is fascinating. It's very vulgar, but it's a not listen to. Y'all gotta tune into. It's on Spotify, and let me go back to the podcast notes. This dropped on July 14th. I can't believe I missed it. It's Young Miami and Kevin Gates talk sexual fantasies, mental health, monogamy, and more. It's her podcast, Caresha Please. I think this is relatively new. Because and the only reason why I know her is is she dating P. Diddy or Love or whatever his name is? It's sponsored by Revolt. She has 206 reviews, and it looks like it is a relatively new podcast. She's a beautiful girl. I only know her. I don't listen to City Girls. I don't really follow, even though I have a whole popular culture part of the podcast about Quark's bar. This is the kind of shit you would talk to in a bar if I actually went to bars and talked to people. But I found out about this interview from one of my most favorite podcasters, Dimitri L. Lucas, on last Tuesday's Ratchet and Respectable. And she didn't lie. I'm blown away, y'all. You can't make this shit up. He basically, Kevin Gates that is, basically goes straight and narrow, and then he deviates. He keeps making me think that, and he admitted he wasn't drunk, he wasn't high, but it's obvious that he was, to me, he just seemed quite imbalanced. Caresha would try to ask him very same questions, but he kept going left. He's a misogynist. He deigned to tell women about their hygiene, from washing behind your ears to vaginal wall cleansing. They talked about tossing salads. He had so many things, and that to me, although it may be pleasurable, it's to him, but he's basically, the human mouth is dirty as it is, and he admits to tossing salads and then vag. He's trying to set a woman up for abscesses and shit and vaginitis. So I don't know, and I don't think he would even think to rinse between holes. I'm just so flabbergasted by the level of depravity and uncouthness of this entire interview. As I said, Demetria L. Lucas spoke about it. She said she's going to follow up and have a conversation with a therapist. And I think that's probably the best thing to break down this into its nuances. She didn't do it on this Tuesday's episode, which I thought was actually really good. But she's alluded to maybe on this upcoming Friday or next week, if she can arrange for one of her therapy friends to basically come on her show, and then they can have a very good conversation, because this level of misogyny, and he relayed so many traumatic experiences from the time he was a little boy and a teenager, molestation, his weird relationship with women, he had an ongoing relationship with a cousin. It was just a lot to unpack. And I wouldn't be able to do it justice without having a real conversation with a professional, because it was just that level of depravity. But I invite you to navigate to Spotify's Caresha Please, and listen to that episode. Have your therapist listen to it, and then y'all talk about it, because it is one of those things that you can't make that crap up. You just really cannot. So now let's get back to it. More of less ratchet stuff. I've basically utilized all of my Audible credits because over the last month or so, I've been listening to several great books. In particular, I just finished up, my dog has basically reminded me that I need to play with her, and she keep trying to eat me, y'all. But anyways, this blasted dog. I've listened to Jamie Foxx's autobiography. I've listened to By the Book by Jasmine Guillory. I've listened to several episodes from Keke Palmer and Jasmine Guillory, Southern Belle Insults, that series. I think her doing the readings, which are like short story readings, kept her busy and paid during the pandemic, which is still going on, contrary to popular belief. And rounding it out, discovering that my podcast is actually on Audible. And I'm going through a great push now and getting my podcast to as many downloads as I possibly can with the help of Brighton Media. Mad shout outs. But I finished reading or listening to My Seven Black Fathers by Will Jawando, where he discussed his complicated relationship with his own father, Olayinka. This man, and I know I'm judging him, but I had to roll my eyes, because he basically had stage 1 favorable prostate cancer after ignoring the symptoms for probably over a year, but it was still in his prostate at that time. They recommended that he get a prostatectomy using the Da Vinci. He basically said no, because he didn't want to lose his libido and have incontinence. He said, I can do it with green shakes and vitamins. Well, he ended up being bedridden, being incontinent, and had broke up with his a girlfriend that Will Jawando had set him up with from the political sphere of D.C. I was floored. I was like, bruh, really? This is what we're going to do now. You can't cure cancer with the Flintstone vitamin. And just because you have skepticism, why wouldn't you, as an IT specialist, think that? However, he ended up still losing everything and ended up dying in hospice after his own son and daughter-in-law was changing his diapers. The indignity of it all and the selfishness of it all. He was selfish and so singular in his selfishness that he did not have a relationship with his own son, was not really present at their visitation with him growing up in the world. But Will Jawando was lucky that he had other men and women that could support him, giving him what he needed, and his father was there, but he wasn't there physically or mentally to be able to contribute to the positivity of his son. And looked at things with skepticism, cutting him off from his own heritage, his Nigerian heritage, because he chose not to get help for his overriding depression and his stank attitude. Didn't get any of those things until he changed his mindset towards the end of his life. And I thought it was just such a waste. However, I'm Petty McBetty. Will Jawando didn't hold it against him. He had to forgive him and just love him, because both of them are adults. He, as a child, could not change the man that was his father, Olayinka. And he had to forgive him, had to love him in order to actually basically bury him. And it basically rounded out every different man from different walks of life contributed him to the great person that he is now. And he was poured into so he could become the exact opposite of the father that he did not have. He became his own man, filled with love, capacity to love and give love and receive it, as well as with empathy, and probably one of the better councilmen for the Montgomery County. So in this particular portion about talking about that particular part of the book, because it was stunning, it was wonderful, and I think it's a good read. If I can suggest you read anything, My Seven Black Fathers is a must read for anyone, men and women, and the goal is to just become better versions of ourselves, definitely better versions of our parents. And stop doing the blame game. Your decisions or lack of relationships have all to do with you. If you know what you didn't get from them and you want to do basically you got to determine that you're going to be the exact opposite and learn before you're older and it's more difficult to change. Learn what you want or how you want to live and interact with people, and the necessity and to create a community of building strong and empathetic people, and people that are not going to get on your nerves or just have you be the strong one all the time. You basically can build a community where you can share the collective emotional heavy lifting. So that's what I actually learned from that. And I'm also enjoying starting listening to, because it was through that book that I decided to go ahead and use my last credit to get Forever POTUS's Barack Obama, Dreams of My Father, and his relationship. He was basically, it was always, his upbringing made him meant to be who he became, the first black president of the United States. Squeaky clean, even though he did admit to smoking weed and underage drinking. But him being of mixed heritage, taking the best of both of those worlds, tossing out what did not benefit him, and his life in Indonesia, on Hawaii, was perfect to allow him to become this person that was made to do that job without a whole bunch of distractions. Having the necessary, and then being taught by a hippy-dippy mom who was also strong within her own right to raise a person that knew he was different, knew he was mixed race, but wanted him to be a good human being. So different than the upbringing of a lot of these presidents, and definitely the fool that was the last president. His upbringing and his entrance into the political sphere, it was made because of the way he was raised, and he's brilliant. Barack Obama is probably one of the smartest, nerdiest black men probably on the planet. But he's able to use that knowledge and to the good, and all he wants to do is serve and to uplift everyone, not just some colorblind world where it doesn't matter. Recognizing the difference, being close enough to the struggle where he never forgot where he came from, but his upbringing was just so eclectic. And his interaction with his father was pretty much absent for most of his life, but he still had a presence. I think his mother presented a really rosy picture of him, and she allowed him to process all the good and the bad when he was in his presence. I thought it was amazing. I thought when the longest time that he came to visit him in Hawaii was after accident, and then he ended up, when the last word that he got from a family member was after he had died in another motor vehicle accident. So he succumbed to his injury. So with that said, it was just his interaction with his father was very complicated, but I honestly think if his parents had stayed together or he had been raised in Kenya, I think his circumstances were only slightly different, and he did not have the support of his mother and grandparents and everybody that surrounded him that positively poured into him, and he took it and made it so great. He would not have been the first Black president. And I think it's just absolutely amazing. So I'm only part way through it. I will probably wrap it up probably by Sunday's longer version, but that's also a very good read. And I'm planning on continuing, not only finishing that, but also listen his second and in his third book, and also letters to his daughter. I may actually have to buy the hard copy of that. All of these are available for immediate purchase on my bookshop.org online bookstore far from Beale Street. Check it out. That is the ending refrain of Wakanda Forever, which drops November 11th of 2022. That teaser debuted at the ComicCon this year. Their entire cast basically spoke about it. I'm going to include it. I saw it on IMDb, and I'll also include the trailer itself in the podcast notes. But I have never watched a trailer that I literally started cheering. There's just so much that is going on in the trailer itself. We see the sister on the beach, and it opens up with "No Woman, No Cry." We see the women warriors suiting up. It looks like they're preparing for a battle to protect Wakanda. We see Angela Bassett as the queen in all of her splendor. We see the dancers. We see Mbatu from the Gorilla People looking buff and fine. We see a juxtaposition of the Hispanic culture, and we just see the beauty of Mother Africa. It's not lost on me the influence of and the richness of the African culture as it pertains not only to comics now, but also to cultures in general, and how they were able to mix as well as infuse in the beauty of the Latino, Afro and Latino culture itself. This is probably one of the best movies of the year, and it's probably the only movie that I literally am looking forward to going to the movies in order to support it, but just because I want it. Not only am I going to get that, I'm going to get the poster is the bomb. I'm probably going to get the toys if they have any. I'm going to probably get this on DVD, even though I don't have DVDs like that. But I do have, believe it, I do have the Blu-ray of Black Panther, one of the last DVDs that I did buy in the last couple of years. I don't even think my Blu-ray player still works. I'm just going to have to get another one just so I can buy the DVD when it comes out. I know it's going to be on a streaming service. I'm going to have that too. It just makes, this is another movie. It makes me just as proud to be African American. And I'm hopeful it'll just make the Latino Americans proud too, because the beauty of the Aztecs and the indigenous cultures are also shown in their own beauty. I saw this rich headdress that I hope is going to become available. And I hope they actually make other posters with celebrating those features of the movie too. This trailer is only a little over 2 minutes long, but it's so awesome. And they highlight so much of the action that is Black Panther. And it just also makes me so sad that Chadwick Boseman is not alive or was not alive to see this to its fruition, because I'm sure when he had already was gravely ill when they probably even started production and when they were in pre-production for this movie. But it just seems like it's beautifully shot, beautifully cut. I don't expect a whole bunch of in-depth monologues or dialogue, but I do expect the grandeur of CGI and the taking full advantage of the special effects from Marvel Studio. I'm just excited about how beautiful this movie appears that it's going to be. And I hope you will also join me as I basically put my words also to video after editing. And I hope you enjoyed not only this segment, this particular segment as from the podcast standpoint, but I also will be producing and publishing video podcasts of my celebration of Quark's Bar. This special bonus content was absolutely a lot of fun to research and definitely a lot of fun to produce. And I hope you enjoyed it just as much as I've enjoyed creating. So that's how we're going to end this episode. And I'm going to end it with a positive word. I used to scoff at people making this statement because of its simplicity, or maybe because it sounded more like an admonishment that I was being everything but kind. But then when I started investigating it for myself, that's when I realized that I was confusing politeness with kindness. Politeness is a fake, superficial manner in which there's no required investment, no self-reflection. But being kind is an adjective. It is an action. If you're kind to yourself first, it's like exercise memory. You will continue and be kind to others. Let that sit with you for a while. I'm going to try to be kind to myself. I'll be kind to others. It's very simple, and you got to repeat it. Lean into the spirit of a new year by counting your blessings, giving to others, and spreading happiness. I know I will. And this episode or this podcast is my means to spread joy and happiness and light and enlightenment. There's so much going on with aggression and just meanness. But if I can leave you with one small positive thought, start your day with that can change everything for you and just basically change your day. Don't forget to check out Dale's Angels Inc. for the notes on this podcast, as well as other works by CQM and other contributors that are in work or in being edited right now. Also, check out my Instagram feed, TNFro is Reading. You can check me out on Facebook, TNFro is Reading Book Club, as well as my YouTube channel, TNFro is Reading and Eating. And what I'm just chatting and streaming at TV Food Wine Girl on Twitter. Navigate to Writer's Block Coffee or shipabagadicks.com. Use my promo code TNFro Coffee or TNFro Got Jokes respectively to get a percentage off of your order. Don't forget to drop me a line at TNFroWisReading@gmail.com. All non-trolling messages may be actually read online, and you can do the same if you are in Podbean or Anchor or wherever you listen to the podcast. And again, shedding light and positivity. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode as much as I've enjoyed creating it. Until next time, bye.